Hey guys, Brad Bob here, Bob Financial, and today I want to talk about reason number 962 on why to convert your TSP or why to convert your IRA to a Roth IRA. I'm kidding. There may not be that many reasons, but there are a lot of reasons. And one of those reasons is known as the widow's penalty. All right. What is the widow's penalty? It's not necessarily a penalty, but what it is when one person dies you take a married couple, one person dies, well, that surviving spouse is going to go from married filing jointly in 1 year to filing as a single person in the next year. Okay. And what happens when that happens? So 12% tax bracket for married filing joint up to 94,300, only 47,000. Okay. If you're single. 22%, 201,000 for married, 100,000 if you're single. And you may look at these and think, oh, what's the big deal? Okay, it's just cut in half. It is cut in half. But when one person passes, is the next person's income cut in half? And I talk with people retiring every day, and I can tell you 9 times out of 10, it is not. Okay, the biggest reason is that the surviving spouse keeps the assets. So if you have $1 million in TSP between the two of you, well, the surviving spouse is going to inherit the assets from the deceased spouse, okay? So they'll still have the same assets. And then a lot of times you have one spouse that has higher guaranteed income, like a higher FERS annuity and Social Security, okay? So it's common, fairly common that one spouse, all of their savings may be in investments and then may get some money from Social Security. And then the other spouse has a pretty good FERS annuity, maybe even law enforcement has a really good FERS annuity, and then pretty high Social Security along with investments as well. Well, when that spouse without the FERS annuity passes, then the surviving spouse is still going to have high income. All right. So in other words, taxable income may not change much. So if we just look here and say that married couple has, let's say they have 100,000 of taxable income, and then one spouse passes and that spouse only had Social Security of say 10,000. So if you're married at 100,000, you're just barely into the 22% tax bracket. Okay. You're paying 12% on most of that. Then, if you go down to 90,000 at the passing of a spouse, now about half of your income is in the 22% tax bracket, okay? So your tax bill just went up significantly. And so what can you do about this? Or why am I telling you this? Well, for one, the most urgent matter, I guess, would be is if you lose a spouse in a year, then there's some planning that could be done, okay? You may want to look at doing some Roth conversions in that year because that next year your tax bracket's going to increase, all right? I have seen that happen before. But then another thought is that one spouse is going to die before the other, okay? I know we're talking a lot about dying here, but it's just stuff that we have to plan for. So one spouse is going to pass before the other, so eventually a person in that relationship is going to go from married filing joint to filing single. All right. And then tax brackets are basically going to double or be cut in half, whichever way you want to look at it. So if you have one spouse that's in poor health and is likely to pass before another spouse that's pretty healthy, okay, maybe you want to look at doing some planning there. Maybe you want to be doing some Roth conversions early on in retirement to prepare for that. Or maybe you want to be doing some conversions, just preparing, even if you're both in good health. Maybe you want to be looking at that today. I talked to one client here recently, and he's, I believe he's in the 24% tax bracket, and then, and he's in the middle of it, okay? So nothing we can really do to not pay 24%, but we were looking at the possibility of him doing conversions today, paying that 24%, knowing that when one of them passes, they're going to be up into the 32% tax bracket. Okay? So we're just planning for the future, trying to be as efficient as we can. One other thing that you can do is, if you're still investing, think about investing in something that's tax-free or is taxed at a lower rate, such as a taxable account or joint account. Just your brokerage account that you pay taxes on today. If you invest properly in it, you can be pretty tax efficient with that money. Or a Roth IRA or Roth TSP today. You put money in there, and then when you take it out, it's income tax free. You don't pay any taxes on that money ever again. Okay, so important to know this information to be able to plan for it. Something to think about in retirement, okay? If you thought, hey, you know what, I'm going to be in the same tax bracket in retirement as I am today, so it's really a wash on if I put money in traditional TSP or Roth TSP. Well, the widow's penalty, okay, that could easily happen and probably will happen to you or your spouse in retirement. So if it's a wash, maybe put money in the Roth TSP today, okay? Thanks for listening. Hopefully this helped. You got some information on the widow's penalty, what it is, what you can do to plan for it. If you need some help with your retirement, I'll put a link down below. You can click it to schedule a phone call with me. Also try and put an article or two down there so you can learn some more about taxes and tax planning. Thanks, guys.